What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for yet another panel show. And finally, we're doing a panel show after 3 points. Spurs did take all 3 points against Brighton on the weekend. And the reaction to some Spurs fans, you might not think we did take 3 points because the performance was still not there. But let's introduce the panel today. We've got returning guest Ash Matic. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, brother. I'm blessed. Good to see you guys. Sun is shining. Lovely little bank holiday, and I'm relaxed. I'm blessed to be here, man.
Yeah, I saw you at the game on the weekend, but I heard you didn't actually go to the game, did you?
No, I just came to protest, man. I just said, yeah, man. I said I wanted to get my voice off. I wanted to get my frustrations out, so I had to go support the boys, and just make an appearance, man.
Nice one. It was good to see you there. And Perchy, first time on the panel. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, mate. How's it going? Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
No, thanks for coming on, mate. Always good to have you on. But look, let's just get straight into it. First topic of the panel today is, did Spurs get lucky? Did the Spurs deserve to get 3 points on the weekend? We'll start with you, Perchy.
No. I mean, if you're honest with yourselves, did we? They absolutely battered us, didn't they? Let's be honest. And if it wasn't for us slipping, how much money did we slip to the referees to basically change some decisions? That was incredible. But honestly, I mean, I thought watching us against Everton.
Apparently, those brown paper bags were Paratici's last Spurs manager, Spurs and director.
Yeah, no, brown paper bags floating about. I mean, it was, but. Yeah, no, I thought us playing against Everton was bad. That was, I think, genuinely, that was the worst game at home we've played all season, and we've had some shockers all season. We were terrible, and the wind just completely papered over the whole performance.
Yeah.
Do you think that was our worst home performance of the season?
We had 30% possession at home. I mean, we got dominated majority of that game. Let's be honest.
Name me a performance that's worse than that. Arsenal, maybe?
Villa.
You could, but yeah, no, you could argue both of those are in there. I mean, they're all in the same bracket. I mean, we can pick it.
We've had some stinkers, Perchy. Don't you forget it.
True. It's true.
I mean, we were bad. I wouldn't say it was our worst performance of the season. There was a bit of it. Like first half, we were all over the shop, but we were a bit better in the second half, weren't we?
I mean, surely it's got to be, if it's not the worst, it's definitely close to. I mean,
I don't know about that.
You can only think of what, 2 worst performances at home this season.
I have to look at our home games. I don't know if it's one of our worst of the season. Maybe.
I think it was. I think it was terrible. I really did. I mean,
I think it was horrendous.
I mean, Brighton deserved to win that game. Never mind draw, never mind lose. I mean, they deserved to win that game. They had plenty of chances. Hugo Lloris was making wonder saves in the game. Ash, how are you feeling about it? Were we lucky to win that game?
Boy, we just got dominated. Shots, everything. 17 shots to our 9, 4 shots on target, 5 shots off target, 8 shots blocked, 7 corners. They've had bigger chances than us. They hit the post. So Lloris had to make a couple saves. They were playing through our midfield, playing through our press. Anytime we tried to press, they played right through it. We didn't have much to say to them. We didn't have much to play. Even when we went to counter-attack them, it came to nothing. So the whole point of having that little possession, the whole point is that we were going to hit them on a counter and then make quality chances. And when it came to like the final ball, that's where we kind of petered out. And I was like, what's the point of doing counter-attacking football if you're not counter-attacking properly, or it's not coming to, it's not resulting in a shot or a chance at least.
And how many times, Ash, were we looking to counter-attack, and the only player getting forward was Skip on his own, just trying to burst forward, and you've got like, where is everyone else? Where is this counter-attack? Where's the support?
This is what I'm saying. So it just doesn't make no sense. Like, I don't know what they're doing when it comes to training and when they're doing their prep, but clearly, like, it's just not working. So, it's just not making absolutely no sense to me. No sense whatsoever. So yeah, it was a poor performance on all like metrics, any metrics you could think of.
Yeah. Someone's phone going off. Don't get me wrong. We definitely deserved to lose. I don't disagree with that. But I think if it wasn't for the referee, we definitely would have lost on Saturday. But I did think the second half we improved. I didn't think necessarily we were better than Brighton even in the second half, but we did improve from our first half. And Brighton in the second half, apart from the penalty they should have had, or the 2 penalties they should have had, they didn't really have many clear-cut opportunities at least, and we did kind of restrict them on that front. First half, I agree. We were all over the shop. We should have conceded more than a goal. We got very lucky with the handball decision. Lloris made a miraculous save onto the post and a brilliant save from McAllister as well. And we're only level thanks to a bolt from the blue from Heung-min Son. Don't get me wrong. But I think there was a bit of an improvement in the second half on that performance. I thought Brighton were a bit more restricted in the second half than they were in the first.
But you're talking about an improvement from really bad to bad, basically. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, atrocious to okay, I would say, yeah.
Atrocious to below par, probably.
I mean, I don't think Brighton did much in that second half, apart from they had the 2 penalties, but they didn't really come from clear-cut opportunities that we thought. I know they had a goal as well that ruled out from VAR, which I think was rightly done so on that occasion. But I just don't think Brighton were anything special in that second half as opposed to the first half where they ran rings around us.
I think it's because we set up defensively. That's the reason why we limit them to more like clear-cut and quality high chances. But what's the point of being so defensive in front of your home fans, in front of your home crowd? Like the whole point to go and watch a football game or support your team is to let your team, be expansive and, try and go at teams. You don't watch your team to sit at home and be defensive. It's no disrespect to Brighton, but you would think that Tottenham Hotspurs are a bigger club than Brighton FC. Do you know what I mean? Albion and Hove. So,
and they were favourites with the bookies coming into it.
So, that tells you everything you need to know. But when your bookies are like booking against you, like it to me is wild, isn't it? I know both managers are Italian, and you kind of like associate Italian with defensive football, etc. But we're really bad at defending. So how about that? Yeah, how about that?
And that's the thing, when we sit back and try and defend, you've just got these defenders who will either make an individual mistake or give away a penalty or commit an unforced error. And that's exactly what happened against Brighton. We were sitting back for a lot of the game, and we should have conceded at least 2 penalties. We were very lucky that VAR was in our favour on 2 of the goals as well. And again, when we're trying to defend leads and hold strong, these defenders more often than not will let you down. And I think we got very lucky on Saturday that it wasn't reflected in the scoreline how much our defenders did let us down. Again,
Eric Dyer thinks he's improved under Conte. Did you read that?
I agree. I mean, Ash, I agree. I think he has improved under Conte. I don't know if you remember him before Conte.
I mentioned that. I can't even remember. I'm trying to think, how bad was he? How bad was Eric Dyer?
Really bad.
So bad. I can't believe it. To come out with that statement, I was like,
Ash, now you only makes 1 mistake per game. Before it was a lot more.
Trust me, he makes a lot more than 1 mistake per game still. But look, like in that game yesterday, right, on Saturday, I don't remember seeing more bad refereeing decisions all in one game than I have done all in like such a short space of time. It was actually mad when you're thinking about it. Like whether you think the penalty decisions or the goal decisions were right, you've got 2 goal decisions, you've got 2 or 3 penalty shouts, you've got many other decisions throughout the game which could have gone the other way. And someone put out a compilation, I think, of 14 decisions or something on the day, which could have gone either way. I mean, how many? That's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen it in one game, so many decisions.
I'm just glad it wasn't. It was just for us. You know what I mean? It was
for once.
We got a 12th man. So we got a 12th man on our team. Luckily that time. So had it been the other way around, we would have been pissed. We would have been like saying it's an outrage. But
no, I think it was an outrage period. I think it just completely ruined the whole point of sport, really. I thought some of the decisions were horrendous. I thought it's quite funny because it's funny seeing people now on like social media trying to justify the decisions. I think only one of them I can honestly justify going, okay, I can understand why it was disallowed, and that was the the one that bounced off McAllister's arm. I think it was harsh, but it's probably the only one I genuinely can go, do you know what? I get why it's been disallowed. I don't agree with it, but I understand why it's been disallowed. Matoma's, again, really? I mean, we all sit there and moaned about the Champions League final when it hit Sissoko's arm saying it wasn't a penalty. I didn't think that was a penalty at the time as well. So we, as a fan base, can't sit there and justify that being considered a penalty, being disallowed, because it was exactly in the same sort of area, in that sort of top shoulder part. The two disallowed penalties, unacceptable. That's just, for me, that's just gross negligence from officiating. Those two, and it just made you look, and you look back and go, it's horrendous.
But how that Højbjerg stamp, the other one later on in the game, I think from Longley, I don't understand how VAR don't pick them up. I don't understand how they're not given as a penalty. And plenty of other decisions throughout the day as well. I mean, Højbjerg, plenty of decisions, plenty of fouls he was making on the day, he got away with. Dyer as well, I think 2 or 3 fouls that he was making, he got away with. Perisic, I mean, I think with the tooth studs up, in the ankle, I think he was lucky to walk away without a red card on the day. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it, Sim?
I have to agree. I think a lot of fans have the kind of attitude going after this game is like, Spurs have had their fair share of refereeing decisions against them in the past, so it's kind of like you win some, you lose some. There's no point people going up in arms about this when where was the apology when Sarr didn't foul the Southampton player and there was given a penalty in the last minute? There was no apology from the PHMOL from that one. But I have to agree that in this particular game, it was definitely an outlier for the amount of decisions that went against Brighton, which probably shouldn't have. It was pretty ridiculous. I do think a lot of the ones you're talking about there, like the fouls and stuff, a lot of them both were 50-50, but I think the penalties and the goals, they were pretty blatant. And that is unacceptable from a refereeing point of view. And it's all well and good us, just celebrating the win and saying, you win some, you lose some. But next week that could be us with the level of officiating at the moment in the Premier League. So I think it is right that it's called out, even from Tottenham fans. And to be fair, I think most Spurs fans have been right in saying that they agree that a lot of the officiating was a bit disgraceful in the Brighton game, and I think they've been right to call it out. And because I think we should hold these officials more to account as opposed to giving them a pass and saying, well, we get bad decisions, so it doesn't really matter if Brighton got a bunch of bad decisions because we get some too. I think it's right that Spurs fans are acknowledging that it's not fair, the amount of decisions that Brighton got against them, against us. And even though we got 3 points and we'll take it, I think on the day it was pretty disgraceful, let's be honest, the officiating. And they only apologised for one decision. They could have easily apologised for a number of others, the PGMOL. So we got very, very lucky on the day. But I guess the question is, as much as we got lucky, could it be a turning point? Could we maybe gain some momentum or feed off that kind of result or performance? Or is it just going to be business as usual next week against Bournemouth? Are we going to go back to, I say back, are we just going to carry on with these poor performances?
Ash, you want to take this one?
I think it's the, with Spurs, this is why I said when I came on the show before, I said we'll probably win this game. It's because Tottenham will do this. They give you like a glimmer of hope. And as soon as you start like, oh my days, we could get top. Yeah, they snatch it from you, right? They just do that. So that they just toy with us. So I wouldn't be surprised now. Games that we're meant to win, we start drawing, and then even when the opportunity's there, just like Southampton, we could have been third if we won that game. Everton again, if we won that game, we could have been third. We've had ample opportunities to go and be third because there's only 3 points between us and third, and then behind us is 6 points. So looking at it, you're like, wow, why are all the Spurs fans moaning for? Like, we're in a great position, but obviously we're in it. So we're seeing the dreadful performances. We're seeing the woeful lack of desire from the players. Do you understand? So, and then every time we've got an opportunity, we just somehow manage to step on a banana skin and slip up. So, again, I don't expect. You know what? We probably could beat Bournemouth. We probably could go and beat them. But performance-wise, what's going on off the pitch and what's going on the pitch, both of them look very, very bleak and very negative. and that just spills out into the players because the energy at Spurs at the moment is quite low. Even when we were winning, so even when we weren't losing at Brighton, but everyone was singing "Levy out" and people were singing out "Pochettino." Do you know what I mean? So that just basically tells you the state of where the club is at, like mentality wise, and the players can hear it as well. So if the players can hear it, they're very much aware of what's going on. So they're going to be trying their hardest to change that against Bournemouth. But like I guarantee you, like when it comes to Newcastle at St James's Park, when it comes to Anfield, like playing at Liverpool, you just know what Spurs is going to turn up. Do you know what I mean? And it's very hard to watch a team with 35% or 30% of the ball at home. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine playing Bournemouth and having like 30% of the ball? Like, I can't believe that.
I literally can. I can imagine it. It's not even a joke. You think I'm joking? Honestly, I think it's wow. It's not a joke anymore, is it?
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. And so, like, as a bottom team, you must think, oh, we've got a chance against Tottenham. Let's have a go. Do you know what I mean? If I was a manager at any other club, I'll be like, they're going to give us the ball. So let's just have a go. You know what I mean?
Give it a go. Yeah, agreed.
And the defenders and the midfield, they're going to be nervous. They're going to think, oh, man, it's 60, 70 minutes. Even Kane come out and said, like, sometimes we're just trying to grind out results. Like, what kind of talk is this? Grinding out results? Huh? Are you not meant to be, like, dominating and winning games and trying to be front-footed? And no, he says, like, look, we tried to score and then we just tried to hang on. That's the reason why we dropped points against Southampton, because we were just trying to hang on. That's the reason why we conceded so late against Everton, because we're just trying to hang on. And as fans, we're sick of it. We've had enough. And that's why a lot of fans are giving up their tickets. There's not a lot of interest in Spurs at the moment. And you're getting fans singing out Pochettino, because those were the days where we were actually half decent. Do you know what I mean? And and that poll that come out the other day about from the Athletic, style over trophies. You know what I mean? That tells you everything you need to know. Like fans to say like, oh, you know what? I just don't even care anymore. I just want I just want my good attacking football back, and then hopefully maybe we'll get a trophy, because we suffered for so long under Mourinho. We didn't get the trophy. We know why. And then we were like, okay, cool. Nuno came along. Obviously, we don't get the trophy there, but still poor performances, still defensive. And then obviously Conte's come in, and then again, it's like 3 to 4 years without a trophy, and we had win now managers, but yet we don't have anything to show for it. So you can't have a win now manager and no trophy, and the football's terrible as well. Like, come on, pick a struggle. Come on, please. Like,
We don't pick struggles here at Tottenham. We don't pick struggles.
Exactly, troubles pick us.
We can have it all, Ashmatic. Why can't we have it all?
Exactly, that's what we want. We can have it all, but I think that's why fans are saying we want the style first, because they assume if the style was good, then the trophy eventually will follow. Do you understand? And we wasn't that far away from that kind of trophy or winning from when Poch was there, and I think that's the reason why certain fans, not all fans, some fans were calling for that.
Yeah, and look, there was nothing at all in that performance that can tell me that we can go on a run and we can really make a stiff at this top four. I mean, you're looking at it now, 8 games to go, 4 home games, 4 away games. Those 4 home games, Bournemouth at home, Man United at home, Palace at home, and Brentford at home. I mean, we may be able to fluke a few wins there, but I can't see us fluking any wins, maybe 1 or 2 away from home. And the only way wins are coming is if we're fluking them at the moment. That's the problem. So,
do you know what it is? I don't even think it's fluking wins at the moment, because we don't play very good. We don't fluke them. It's as long if Harry Kane plays 10 out of 10, we win a game of football. And I don't actually think it's fluking. It's unless Harry Kane is playing out of his skin, we don't win games. But you guys know that. So I've been on your channel and stuff before and stuff, and going on. We don't play well, but unless Harry Kane plays well, we don't win games of football. And it was like that on the weekend, weren't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, and it's case in point. On Saturday, Kane had a very good game, and it was the way we won is two just individual bits of quality, like great finish from Son out of the blue. It was a fairly good team move again for the second goal, but it was more a great finish from Kane on the edge of the area, even though he had good time and space. Brilliant finish, and that outdid all of Brighton's good work. They were playing through us, all that good football. It's like we didn't need that. We just need two individual bits of quality, but that's how we're going to do it. And a few refereeing decisions. That's what
won't mention that one.
Forget for putting that aside for a sec. That's essentially how we're going to win these games. Just hoping the defensive mistakes don't cost us as much as they should, and are relying on those bits of individual quality from those two players to get us out of jail, essentially. But they are that good that maybe that could be enough. Who knows? I mean, unlikely so, given how bad our defenders are, and that was even on show on Saturday. But Kane and Son, if we're going to have any chance of sneaking in that top four, it's going to be on them.
100%. Of course, it's going to be on them, and then that's the bare minimum we need is Kane and Son to be producing for us every single game. We need our defense to stand strong. We need to not stop bottling in it in every single away game. I mean, we need a lot of things to go for us from now to the end of the season if we're going to make this top four, in my opinion. But look, let's move on. Let's go to the next topic, because Stellini and De Zerbi both had issues. Is he gone? Oh, he's back. Yeah, Stellini and De Zerbi both got sent off on the weekend. It looked a really weird one because De Zerbi was going mad. Stellini was just standing there with his arms folded, just watching the team play. And then the referee comes over and shows them both a red card. He was like, what the hell's going on? I've never seen someone get sent off for something that they didn't do or something. It was just a bizarre moment in a football game. Apparently, this has been spilled over from before the game in the first half as well. Something happened. Ali Gold has been trying to shed some light on it. And what are the quotes on what he said?
So apparently De Zerbi took issue with some of Stellini's comments in his pre-match press conference, and it's more to do with a headline that was written in the Italian paper Gazzetta dello Sport, which had the headline quoting Stellini saying De Zerbi is exploiting all of Graham Potter's good work from Brighton, which isn't exactly what Stellini said, but that was what the Italian paper kind of took the headline from as to what Stellini actually said. What he actually did say was they are well prepared when you start to press them. They find ways to overcome your pressure. They are well positioned and they plan match in the right way. They have many solutions and adapt themselves when you change something because they come from a good job that Potter did with them for a long time. So that is what Stellini said about De Zerbi. He also said, I think De Zerbi is not as fluid tactically as Graham Potter is. De Zerbi is more a manager of consistency in the way he likes to hurt the opponent. He's more focused with the ball, what he can do with the ball and being aggressive when they lose it. Potter was more fluid in his systems, but the players are smart to do it and you have to create intelligent players to do it. But De Zerbi has improved them a lot. He has great personality and he's adapted to a country quickly and he's put his sign on his team. It's not easy as for everyone, and De Zerbi shows in England that he's a great manager. So apparently De Zerbi took issue with these comments from Stellini saying that he disrespected him and that he's giving too much credit to Potter for Brighton's good run and he's not giving De Zerbi enough credit. And that's where the issues came pre-kickoff. As you saw before kickoff, De Zerbi went up to Stellini and was wagging his finger in his face and giving him a real what for basically before kickoff, and then obviously it balled over during the game.
Yeah, so this isn't the first time we've had managers taking Italian quotes in the Italian press the wrong way, as we saw earlier on this season with Antonio Conte. So was De Zerbi right to feel disrespected by Christian Stellini? We'll start with you, Ash.
No, of course not. Like, obviously, he's taken that quote and he's kind of ran with it. And it was mad because I think it was a great advert for Stellini. I mean, for De Zerbi. I think Stellini was bigging him up. It was like, Tottenham board, I mean, if you want another Italian, this Italian is the one to go for. Like, he's got good attacking football. And he's actually implemented it very quickly. And he's very surprised on how quickly the players have actually adopted his style, because he hadn't come in very long, and already they're playing like the Zerbi ball already, and he was bigging them up if anything. So like it should have been like the Zerbi coming over to Stellini and shaking his hand and saying, "Thanks, man. I appreciate the little big up you did for me like the other day. I appreciate that." But obviously, I don't know who's brought it to him. Maybe one of his people just said, "Look, are you gonna have that, brother? Look, he's chatting shit. He's chatting rubbish about you. Blah blah blah. Don't have it. Don't have it." And then he's gone on a mad one. Like, what do you think of a dickhead? Hey! And then all of a sudden, all the man that were back in it is just kicking off and going mad, crazy. But for me, like there's Stellini's like, I don't know, it reminds me of one of those cartoon characters that I used to watch was it Asterix? He reminds me of one of those cartoon characters. Like,
Great shout, by the way.
I was like, he looked lost. He was like, "What have I done? What? Hey, what's going on?" And even Mason was looking around as well. He wasn't a part of it. And then all of a sudden, it started kicking off. Them two were like, right, like, and then he got the red card, and he's thinking, what? Like, I tried to stay out of it, and you're still red carding me. But obviously, I know it was because he's lost he's lost the control of the staff, and he's meant to be the captain. He's meant to be the head of the staff.
Yeah, but Ash, just imagine like on the pitch, like the players surround the referee, and the captain stays back, and then he just sends the captain off because he didn't control his team. It would just be very odd, wouldn't it?
Bro, it's wild. To me, it makes no sense. I'm just trying to make sense of it all. But
there's no sense you can make of it, Ash. There's no sense. It's just complete lunacy. The guy was literally just standing there with his arms folded, when madness was just breaking down all over the place around him.
It was too funny. I was watching it and I was dying. I was busting up. I was like,
imagine trying to stay out of trouble and then you get sent off because you tried to stay out of trouble.
That's happened to me at school. You know, like when you're throw the tissue, like a tissue at the back of the teacher's head. Teacher comes around and puts you in detention. Boy, it wasn't even me. I wasn't even talking. But I'm telling you, man, it's just life's unfair, isn't it? Sometimes you just got to take it. That's the way I see it.
What do you think, Perchy?
I think it's a lot of stuff about nothing. I mean, it was probably the most enjoyable part of the game. Let's be honest. Let's be frank and honest. It was the most enjoyable part of it. He's sitting there, standing there like as if nothing. What made me laugh is the way he was standing there made me. It came across like, you know, when a player's done something proper bad, like they put in a bad tackle, and best thing to do, if I just stand away from all the melee, I might just get away with it. He's obviously said something and he got sent off for it. But listen, I'll be honest, over it all, like I sit there and go, at least it means he ain't in charge against Bournemouth. We might actually play. I'll be honest, like Ryan Mason actually made some progressive
There could be an appeal, Perchy, so I wouldn't get too comfortable.
Like,
you're looking forward to Mason ball then, Perchy?
Not really, but it's like it's like a race to the bottom. It feels like for me at the moment. Like I don't even care anymore. Like where we finish at the end of the season, because it really doesn't matter. It's like it's just something to change. I thought Ryan Mason actually made some all right substitutions when he actually looked all right when he was in charge for a period of it. She looked like we actually gave a bit of.
Yeah, we found Dan Juma.
Well, apparently, Ali Gold is saying that he was still under instruction from Stellini, who was communicating with him via someone upstairs. So it wasn't all just Mason, apparently.
This football club's a circus. Let's be honest, isn't it? Let's be honest. It is big top Tottenham.
But Perchy, what do you think De Zerbi really got annoyed about in terms of the comments made by Stellini?
He obviously got rattled. I'll be honest, I didn't even watch the press conference and all that stuff and where it's all come from. But I tell you what, though, it rattled him, didn't it, though? It worked. De Zerbi rattled him and stuff. And it was just all kind of got into it. But as I said, it was probably the most exciting part of it, this whole battle between them. I'd have happy of it. Just let's get the boxing set up in the stadium. We'll have them to have a scrap and we'd have had more enjoyment because the football was terrible. But, listen, I think, for me, I'm more in the sense of it's a lot of nothing that's sort of blown into it. Listen, are they going to be friends probably by the end? Probably not. Is De Zerbi really going to care? Still, he's not going to be in next year, is he? So, do you know what I mean? I think it's a lot of talk about a lot of nothing, really.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the whole thing was just so stupid because De Zerbi's taking a fake quote that didn't even happen, just a sensationalist headline that didn't even come from anywhere.
He's like guilty of just not reading the whole article. He's like guilty of being like one of these Twitter guys who just reads an article, reads the headline, and doesn't actually read the article.
Pretty much. He's like one of these Spurs fans that go on about one of these fake Levy
At Deserby
rumors.
season.
Yeah. You know what I mean? He's like one of these guys. So, and you don't listen to what he's actually saying. So how can you actually get mad over some bullshit headline? It's absolutely mental.
He's like, you're saying it's all Potter? He's like, what you're saying? He's like, I didn't say that. He's like, you didn't read the article. He said, no, I read the headline. You said it was all Potter, you bastard. That's basically what's happening. So it's madness. But I guess the real question is, when it comes to this whole De Zerbi thing, is if he was a candidate for the Tottenham job before this game, will what has happened hurt his chances?
I don't think so. I mean, we did hear that, there were reservations about his temperament and stuff before that. Maybe that will hurt his chances in a way. But I don't think we could have got him out of Brighton anyway, to be honest. I think that it's not, we're not the shining lights here. De Zerbi is the shining light here. We need to pander for him. There's no point of him trying to pander to us. You know what I mean? He's the one that holds the cards at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
So you don't think that how he reacted would have put anything in Tottenham, the hierarchy's mind, as to whether they'll really go for him or not?
They had it in Conte, didn't they? So I don't really think, I don't know, it's controversial, isn't it? But I got a feeling where they didn't really want to get rid of Conte. I felt like Conte wanted to walk in it. I felt like Conte wanted to kind of keep it moving. And that's the reason why we brought Stellini in. And so they knew what they were getting with Conte. And so I think if that was really a big issue, we don't like this temperament thing, then the Derby would have been ruled out a long time. So I just think they need to go back to attacking football. Obviously, Levy said, attacking football's in our DNA. Obviously, he kept lying to us by bringing in defensive managers. But now is his chance to bring in an attacking manager again. So I still think it's an option, despite his temperament. That's what you're going to get with these type of fiery kind of managers and candidates. Do you know what I mean? In my opinion.
Do you like De Zerbi, Perch, or did the weekend do anything to change your mind?
I don't think I didn't like him, and I don't think I don't like him before or after that game. If he's the manager, I'd be happy, because I think he's shown what he can do at Brighton. And he'll be able to get something out of the players we've got. But as I said, for me, I've always said to you about the new manager. The new manager is relevant, is second to the plan. What's the plan at Tottenham? I stand by that in the sense of I want us to see we want to go in this direction and we're going to stick to it. Not chopping and changing. If we get a new manager, if a manager comes and goes, we stick to the same philosophy. And unfortunately, that's our problem we've had at the moment, and we've had that for a while. We don't have a structure and a plan of action on how we're going to operate. But would I want De Zerbi in? Yeah, I don't see why not. Do I think it will be him? No, I honestly don't think it will be him. So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on and let's talk about the next topic. We appointed Scott Munn to the chief football officer or some random title like that, with the impending investigation and appeal process of Fabio Paratici. It's come to light that he will come in as Daniel Levy's number 2 apparently, and if Paratici comes back, he'll be working under Scott Munn, and he's had various opportunities where he's kind of worked in different aspects of football in Australia, in where else? Australia and China. I don't know. I don't really know what kind of work he has done, but we have kind of heard that he has been kind of successful in his job. I think he was involved in the City Group as well. Do you think this appointment is a step in the right direction? What we're hearing is that Daniel Levy will be taking a step back from football operations, but we heard that when Fabio Paratici joined Spurs as well, so I'm not fully convinced. But Perchi, do you think this appointment is a step in the right direction?
On paper, yes. I think on paper you look at it and go, it's the right direction. It's what we've been asking for as fans for a very long time, that we have an independent person on the board that is dealing with the sporting aspect of our club. And when I say sporting, I mean the football. don't care about any of the other sporting events that happen at Tottenham. I'm on about the football. So yes, potentially has a great opportunity here. But the way I look at it, I will only start giving it praise when I see action. I start seeing a plan at Tottenham. I start seeing the way that we are operating is differently.
Hey, Perchy, don't tell me that win against Brighton was nothing but a new CFO bounce.
Oh, don't start. No, honestly. No. It's not. It's
the Scott Munn bounce. Do you not know that?
The Scott Munn bounce, amazing. I mean, I mean, as long as we just start actually spending Scott money. Should we try that one? Oh, sorry, that was terrible. But yeah, no. But no, I genuinely think, I said, until we're still seeing action, then I'll start bringing it in. Everyone got really excited about Paratici. I thought he was bang average. I genuinely think I will say that, and I'll say it again. I think he was awful. His appointment.
I think it's a bit of a different role though that we're talking about here, because I think
no, it is. Yeah, I think he's a more senior role in a sense. But because I read somewhere that Paratici, even if he'll come back in his role if his appeal thing goes through or something, and I'm like, I kind of hope it doesn't, because I genuinely think we need to rip up his contract, because I think people get really excited about Paratici, and I sit and go, apart from the 3 players he got from his old club, who's he brought in that's any good? Genuinely, I'll say that.
I think that's a bit unfair, because he's brought in Bentancur, he's brought in Romero, he's brought in Kulusevski.
Yeah,
that's
what I mean.
Porro.
Yeah, so Romero, Kulusevski, and Bentancur all came from his old club. So from the club at Juventus. So apart from those 3. I think
Pape Matar is going to be a good player. I think I like the look of him. Brian Hill, I think he does have quite a lot of talent. Destiny Doji, I mean, we don't know, but hopefully he's going to be a big
Destiny Doji, you could potentially say could happen. But this is the thing is
Fraser Forster's been his best signing anyway.
Wow, I mean that literally says it all, doesn't it? That literally says everything. And I genuinely think, I don't think he's done any better than what we've done in any sort of. Because I think when people talk about him as some sort of amazing Basuma, but you could argue Basuma was nothing to do with him. I read a lot of reports that had nothing to do with him, Basuma. So it's like we can. To be honest. I read that was all Levy that sorted out the Basuma deal. So like it's one of those.
We know Levy sorted out the Richarlison deal as well.
Yeah, no, I know, but my point being is that. Hopefully this new guy comes in. This guy comes in now, and he's the one in charge. He's the one that signs it off. He does it. We have an actual person in charge of it. So, as I said, when it happens, I'm not going to start jumping in for joy yet, because nothing's happened yet. When something happens, then we'll start talking.
But do you not think it's good, though, if we're talking about getting Levy away from footballing operations? Is this not more Levy? It's just not more evidence anyway that Levy will be maybe, hopefully, focusing more just on the business side and leaving the whole of, because what it seems to me is this Paratici, in terms of how this is going to work, is like Paratici is going to be more about recruitment and like doing deals, negotiating, identifying people, and this guy's going to be above that, like doing like budgeting for recruitment, working with the academy, seeing there's a pipeline, just restructuring our whole football operations, restructuring our football operations, and it seemed to me like maybe Levy was doing that before, and maybe this is more separation for him.
Yeah, agreed. And no, you're right. But as I said, proof is in the pudding. We haven't even put the cake yet we haven't even put the cake in the oven to cook it yet. Let's see what happens at the end of it if something happens. As I said, it's the right steps. We need someone in charge of creating an actual culture at this football club again, because we need to start with a plan from start to beginning. As I said, there's no route for, and I was saying this on a stream the other day with someone. I said, there's no route for the 14-year-old youngster that is in our youth systems. There's no route to the top, is it? Even for the lads in our academy, there's no route to the first team, is there? And for me, that's our big problem. You look at other clubs who are great at it. Man City are brilliant. You can pick out the team players of late that have come through their academy. Even this season, Rico Lewis has come through and he's playing games for him. I don't see one academy player at the moment even getting an opportunity at Spurs. Doesn't mean that they're good or bad. I don't know that. I don't know how great or whatever they are. But do you sort of see my point? We need a whole transformation at this club, because we're not going to go out there and spend 80, 90 million pound on players. So start building players. Let's start making players that are going to be that. And if we have to sell them on at 90 million quid, but we just rotate it. Brighton do it really well. They go and buy kids young and then they produce them. And yeah, I think that's for me. I think if this bloke comes in and he's the one that goes and creates an actual culture at this club, then fair play to him. We need someone like that.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, because, like, how many times have we all sat here and being like, all right, this is the step that we needed to take. This is the step for Daniel Levy to take a step back in the footballing side and just focus on the business side. We're on the right path now. And then you hear, oh, Daniel Levy's involved in this. Daniel Levy's involved in that. Daniel Levy's screwing this up. Daniel Levy is screwing that up. So I think, yes, in argument's sake, that it is a good step if you take all things considered. But you need to see how it pans out, because Daniel Levy needs to stop sticking his oar in where it's not wanted and let football people, or let those people that he's employed to make the footballing decisions, stick with the footballing decisions. I mean, Ash, do you think this is the right step for the football club?
I smell bullshit. That's what I smell. That's what I smell. So what a coincidence. Conte leaves, clubs in disarray. Oh my days, everything's clubs burning down. You know, we drop out against Southampton. It's a massive, explosive press conference. Conte calling out the players, saying they're no good. Tottenham have won nothing in 20 years. Why? Yeah? Brother, come on, man. AC Milan game, well, like, obviously that's a madness. Obviously we go crushing out the cart for Sheffield United. The fans, they're not happy. It's disarray. People calling Pochettino out. People been calling Levy out. And then all of a sudden, we get Paratici, who never, ever comes on his phone and does like a video call. All of a sudden, he's on his phone like, yeah, hi guys. I think we need to get behind Stellini. And let's go get this up front. Yeah, come on, guys. 24 hours later. has now lost his... has got a 3-4 white band. Like, come on. But Levy flies off to Asia. All of a sudden, Scotland is the new champion. Like, too, like, you know, Dr. Evil has got a little minion, little sidekick. Yeah, that's the little mini-me. That's what he is. He's got a bald head as well. No, for people with bald heads. Bald lives matter. I get it. But you get me? I could just see it. Like, Tottenham comes now. Tottenham are interested in Maddison. Closest sources to say Maddison is getting nearer. We are focusing on Maddison. Interested FC.com. Nothing's going to change. I'm telling you. It's like he employs people that have the same mindset as him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, nothing really changes where it matters. Do you know what I'm saying?
Ash, would you say instead of it being a genuine step to restructure the footballing side of the club, is maybe Levy just hired a cheap yes man to stave off the fans? Is that what you're thinking?
My bro, it's just the timing. Call me a cynic. I don't know. I'm just looking at what I've seen, and then I'm just seeing what's happened after, and it's happened so quickly. Like, it just, to me, there's no coincidence. You understand?
This is the guy that they've been chasing for years, Ashmatic. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, come on, we're Tottenham fans. Come on, man.
This is the step we've needed.
We've been through this. Like, I'm not like. It's like one of those, like, you know, like a girl that keeps going to the man that, you know, keeps cheating on her, but like, it's like, oh, he's gonna change. I'm the one that can change him. I'm the one that. Do you know what I mean? That's like, I feel like some Spurs fans, not all Spurs fans, like, they give that hope to Levy, thinking, yeah, maybe he has got this guy to step in and change things. Like, yeah, maybe he's different to the Paratici era. Yeah, maybe it's different to the Kamoli era, or
maybe he's finally learned. Maybe he's finally learned.
Has he finally learned his lesson? Well, time will tell.
So what about the guy that keeps protesting against his ex?
But just looking at the evidence, I just don't believe you. Me personally, I've just been burnt so many times. I think I've got that PTSD, like, you know what I mean? I've got mad issues, like, you know what I mean?
No.
I get the feeling Levy could announce tomorrow he's stepping down, and you wouldn't believe him.
I still think he could die tomorrow, and I still think he's some type of control. Like, yeah, he would haunt us forever for me. Like, I just can't see him. He's too much of a control person. Like, he just wants his hands on everything. Do you know what I mean? He just can't let it go. Like even down to the stadium when it was getting built, he wanted to know how every doorknob was being fixated. Do you know what I mean? Down to where everything was being placed. He's just so like, he couldn't even let the builders do his job. This was the working construction, but yeah, he's all over it. Do you understand? You're a finance man. Stick to finance. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, how many times did we see with Poch? Like, Poch was in charge, and Poch wanted a pre-season with players. He's like, please, Levy, please, give me players early so I can have a pre-season with them and I can develop them. Do you know what I mean? And then, no, Levy wants to save money on wages. So guess what? He does his lastminute.com, so he hasn't got to pay all the way through June, July, and a bit of August. He just signs at last minute, and that way he saves money on wages. He's a finance man. He's an accountant man. He's seen it. And that's all I've got to say. I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. That's it.
We got one of our fans, a guy called Andy. He actually sent us this really long message about Scott Munn the other day after his appointment. I want to read it because I thought it's quite interesting. He says, I think the appointment of Scott Munn is a momentous moment for Spurs.
Momentous.
He says momentous moment for Spurs and its fans. He is an exceptional sports administrator and he's top notch. He understands how to build an efficient, smart sports organisation that produces results. It's not a position that requires football knowledge. It's a position that's all about building an administration that supports success on the field. He will organise and hire people that will bring success. This is also a massive sign that Levy is trying to distance himself from sports administration and focus on the business, which is undoubtedly he has done a tremendous job. I've known Scott Munn, and I know he's built Melbourne FC into a powerhouse in Australian football. He's a top-notch work on a super successful Olympics committee. He's a senior executive on the NRL and AFL that are powerhouses in Australian sport. This really could be amazing. He will build the infrastructure and hire good football people to do their magic, something Spurs have missed for 30 plus years. So.
My ears are hurting. I just know. All I heard was Cricket World Cup, Rugby World Cup coming to Spurs Stadium, NFL. That's all I heard. Yeah. Sporting infrastructure. Money to the stadium. Money. Sport infrastructure. Like, obviously, it'd be great if that money is put into, some of Spurs supporting, some of our kitty when it comes to the war chest, and we can prove like, our finance is coming from here. It's good to have streams. I'm not against streams, by the way. So like, I'm all for it, but I just don't know. I can't see us becoming all of a sudden a super powerhouse like a Man City, how they operate in the market, etc., etc. I mean, it gives us more tools and more arms. Yes, I agree. But yeah, I just heard Cricket World Cup. I'm sorry.
So listening to that, Ash Allperch, does that sound like a guy who's going to be geared towards success on the pitch, or more still commercial success?
Yeah, to me, it sounded like commercial. I mean, sporting could mean anything. You know what I mean? Entertainment-wise, like, I think sporting, you've got loads of opportunities. The stadium's not being used for long time periods when football's not being played, so I think it's a great opportunity.
What do you mean? You're going to see Spurs lift the ashes at the Tottenham Hotspur? I mean, England lift the ashes at the Tottenham Hotspur.
We might even get a cricket team called like Aussie Hotspur. I don't know. You know what I mean? Hotspur. Or international Hotspur. Our own cricket team, our own rugby team. It'd be amazing. But just football-wise, I'm still skeptical. Like, I've been burnt, so please forgive me, guys. Like, yeah, I've got stars.
Go on, Perch.
What do I think of it? Listen, as I said to you a moment ago, proof's in the pudding. I want to see something before I start talking about it. Is it positive? Look, to take it on face value, yeah, why not? It's positive on that side of things. But I think for me, it's the bigger. It's all about the bigger picture, really. The bigger picture is this person in charge to create a philosophy and a culture at Tottenham from youth level to first team level? I want to see it before I talk about it. It can, because I've seen it happen so many times. I hear about this, that, and the other so much that I don't really care until I see it. Listen, I think this guy could be great, but it could also just be exactly the same every single time at Tottenham. So for me, I want to see something before I start giving this guy praise. I think we, as a fan base, as I said, we've had other people in charge in these sort of roles that we all got excited with, and then it kind of just faded into nothing again. So I think great news. Listen, it's on face value, it's a step forward. But for me, I want to see more before we start giving this person some sort of credit before he's even done anything.
I think on a serious note, I think if it is to be successful, it's going to take time. We're not going to see an immediate effect. If it is like what they're proposing from that comment, I think it would take like maybe.
But hopefully, we'll start to see changes from early on, though.
I mean, yeah. Like these things take time. If this guy's never had experience in European football, it's going to take a while to implement his styles. But it is like you said, on paper, positive on paper. I'll see that
on paper, yeah, you're right. On paper, it could be a really good appointment. But for me, and you're absolutely bang on what you said. This is something that's not people in the chat here think that this is something that's going to make a difference next season. You're far from it. This is something that we're going to see improvement for 5, maybe even 10 years.
That's what I'm saying.
But we have to be sensible. If in the in the summer, this at the end of the window, we're not going to be seeing massive improvements and stuff in the summer. We've got to be very sensible here and think this person, we have to give his time. We have to see improvements, consistent improvements over the time, over years. It could even take a decade. I think it's going to take a decade for us to be anywhere near competing at the likes of Man City because we are so behind. I just want us to be competing with Newcastle, and with even that could be a problem in a couple of years' time. We're not even competing with Newcastle at the moment. We're struggling to compete with Brighton. Heck, we struggled to compete with Southampton a few weeks ago and Everton. So I think we have to be much more realistic and sensible when it comes to this sort of thing. Could be positive, and as I said, I will talk about it when I see actual infrastructure and process from the bottom to the top at Tottenham.
All right, let's move on to the last topic of the day, and it's our boy Heung-min Son. Entered the 100 club on the weekend, 100 goals for Spurs, 100 goals in the Premier League. On top of that, he has got 150 goal contributions in 260 games. So the question is Son the best ever player to come out of Asia? What are we saying, Perchy?
Oof, it's a great. Yeah, I think the amount of goals he scored, the quality of a player. I think it's probably a combination of two, really. I think, but then there's a few names you could pick up on this and stuff. You've got the likes of Park Ji-sung, Nakata.
Yeah.
You got a few others.
Shinji Kagawa. There was that Iranian Ali Dai. I think he got before Ronaldo just recently beat the record. He held the record for most international goals in the world.
Yeah. No, agree. I think it's a good question actually, because you have to take into all factors. Because you could argue on whatever factor you want to look at it. If you argue about trophies, Park Ji-sung one absolutely was. He's so decorated at Man United. But you could argue he was because he was at Man United. If someone was at Man City.
You can argue that with a lot of players, aren't you? Like Ryan Bertrand won a Champions League. You're not going to say he's better than Harry Kane. You know what I mean?
It's all about what metric people want to judge it on. I think Heung-min Son's incredible. I think he's world class. Contrary to what beliefs, what people somehow think that I don't think Son's good. No, I've been critical of Son, massively critical, because I think I put him in a world class bracket. so I will judge him as a world-class player. So I think, I think Heung-min Son, to say he's the best, I don't know. It's hard. People might say he is because of the Tottenham factor. We're all Tottenham fans, so we want to say that our player is
He's
the best.
by far, to be honest. I think
I think on
he's actually
ability,
by far.
I was just going to get there. So on ability, I would say he is. I think ability-wise, yes. If that's the metric, because as I said, people base things off the best on metrics. I base it on ability, and I think Heung-min Son's got ability-wise is the best Asian player to play. I mean, he's a global icon, and he's an icon for Asia. So I think on those sort of parameters, you could argue yes.
Ash, what are you thinking?
Oh, right, cool. Basically, he's the best. Yeah, he's the best. I mean, it's not even what are we doing here? Like, neutrals love him. Every neutral player, every neutral fan I come across is like, they don't care about Harry Kane. They care about Son. Because Son's got that, forget football for a minute, he's got that likability. I know, like, we're talking about football here, he's the greatest player ever, but I think that does come into it, like, whether a player is liked or not. And I think by his teammates, not just his teammates, but by opposition, they admire him, they love him. Even the pundits, they say, like, he's such a nice guy, he's such a gentleman. As soon as you see him, you just want to start smiling. But in terms of, like, actual goals, like, the actual goals, like, he scores, forget the 100. Left foot, right foot, top bins. It's like a trademark goal. Even the last goal he scored, which was his 100th goal, outside the box, was a trademark Sonny goal. Do you know what I mean? And I always look at, for me, I like great footballers. I like footballers that score amazing goals. I don't really care about the numbers too much. You know, everyone's like on the numbers, the stats and all of that. No, I watch football. I watch football to be entertained. Do you understand? And Sonny has given me numerous amount of moments, like that goal he scored against Burnley. Like, that was like amazing. I watched that live. I was just like, oh my, he's arrived. You know what I mean? That cheeky goal he scored when we were against, I think it was Wolves or Watford, I can't remember. He scored that
the back heel volley.
Yeah. Oh
Watford.
my days. That was a lot. That meant a lot. The first goal he scored in the Tottenham Stadium as well. Like, the type of goals he scores. Against Palace, yeah. The type of goals he scores again in Champions League. He's done it on big stages as well. Against Champions League, he's scoring screamers against Dortmund. Then he played against Man City, scoring screamers. Man City away, he's scoring bangers. Bangers. Arsenal, I could go on. The Arsenal goals, oh my days, top corner, right foot, left foot. This guy, and he's got pace. And his first, listen, there's so much things I can say. And what I found interesting today as well, when he, on Saturday, he spoke about his change of position this season. And he said he was asked to play a lot more in field because, you know, the wing back needs to be isolated one-on-one with a defender. So he often, this season especially, wasn't really in that position because what he needs to be in the box a lot more. And a lot of his goals, he was saying, can come from in the box. So he doesn't understand that, you know, he can improve under that role, and he wants to do better under that role and get more goals that way. But it just shows to me that he's got another element to go, a little more room for growth in his game. But but going back to what he's good at, I think him out wide, I think everyone agrees, like, Sonny as a wide forward as opposed to an attacking midfielder is just another level. And I think that's the reason why a lot of fans are thinking that might have been a dip in his performance, because he's asked to do something a little bit different, a bit more defensive duties, a bit more playing a bit more in field, as I said before. But like, in terms of the greatest Asian footballer, I liked Nakata. I thought Nakata was dope. I thought he was a crazy footballer. But like, yeah. But Son, like, even if I wasn't a Spurs fan, for me, Son all day. Because you know when you look at Salah was that guy, and he pushed Salah all the way, and he got that golden boot. And I love the way he just turned up against Norwich, and he just said, "Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to turn up." And even the bangers he scored against Norwich to get the golden boot, like, I just can't stop. I can't really. Sonny's that guy, and he's really loved amongst the community.
Yeah, Ash, you mentioned Nakata, right? And yeah, like I remember him being like a top player as well. I'm just looking at his stats now. I mean, the guy only scored 41 goals in his whole career.
Ash ain't a stats guy, bro. He
Only
told you.
41 goals though.
He was.
Yeah,
I
but
think he was a
that's
Ballon d'Or nominee. Though. I think he was nominated for Ballon
For
d'Or
one
in his
year,
time.
yeah, he was. Son should have been nominated for Ballon d'Or at least once in his career, at least.
I think he might do. I don't know if he was nominated for Ballon d'Or, but was he? Well, maybe he was. Like, 'cause there's 100 players, isn't there? They get nominated, or
Yeah.
50 players. So he might have been when he won the Golden
Might have
Boot.
been. He got nominated 3 years, Nakata.
3 years in a row.
98, 99, 2001.
Quite the player.
Yes, there you go.
The big
There you
question
go.
is, can he be considered the best ever without winning a trophy? But I guess he did win
Of
the
course he
Asia. He
can.
won the Asia Cup, didn't he? Did he win the Asia Cup?
He did win the Asia Cup, but yes, he can be nominated for without winning something big in his career. Of course he can. I don't think that should be the metric going on.
I know
Should be
this
everything
isn't
put together.
I know this isn't accurate because obviously this player won something. But for me, like when I was growing up, I used to like a player called George Weah. George Weah, he scored like a goal similar to Son, where he literally ran through the whole team. He ran through the whole team, and then they gave him World Football Player of the Year that season, and he ended up being like Libya's president off the back
Yeah.
of it. Do you know what I mean? But he wasn't like super prolific throughout his career, but like just watching him as a player for me, just like exciting. Every time he gets the ball, I'm like, I just want to watch him. And I kind of get that from Sonny. Like, as soon as he gets the ball, he just kind of get off his feet. He's one of those type of players. Like, maybe not so much this season, but just in general. Like when Son, remember that goal he scored against Chelsea? He literally just turned the burners on, and he just dust past bare good players, come inside and score that goal at the Wembley Stadium. That for me was like, wow. Like he just has those moments of magic. There's so many moments of magic. You could just look through his career and think. But obviously, like players are like, people are judging him because he hasn't won anything, so maybe another player could come and eclipse him and maybe do something a bit better than him. But
I can't think of an Asian player who's played at the level Son has played for as long as Son has, and consistently played like at the high standards that he has for so long. And also, even not even talking about Asian players, just if you think about Premier League players who've scored 100+ goals, like I can't think of too many players who have a repertoire of goals like Son. Like Son, like how many bangers does Son have out of those 100 goals? I think the case in point, I know you don't like stats, but Ash, but out of his 100 goals, if you take the stats, he scored them from 74 XG, which means he scored 26 goals essentially that he shouldn't really have scored, like more than he should have expected to have scored. That just shows his unreal finishing.
Split halfway, left foot, right foot as well.
Yeah,
pretty
55 on his right, 41 on his left. So essentially, near close to 50-50 in terms of both feet. It's truly exceptional, actually. He's actually, when you think about it, those kind of stats, when it comes to his finishing, he's a bit of a freak. He's actually not just one of the best finishers in the Premier. He's probably one of the best finishers in Europe when you take into account those statistics. And you think about how many goals he scored from outside the box, how many goals he scored from crazy dribbles and runs, like against Burnley. And not even if you take all those out, just the finishes he's got from tight angles inside the box and like really good finishes off both feet as well. The guy is a phenomenon in that aspect, and I can't think of, if we're going back to specifically Asian players, I can't think of an Asian player who's played, because he's been at Tottenham for 8 years, and before that he was actually playing in the Bundesliga and still pretty good there as well. I can't think of a player who's played at 10+ years in Europe at as consistently a high level as Son has.
There hasn't been one. The only one that you can probably slightly say maybe is Ji-sung Park. He's the only one.
Yeah. But I don't think he played as high, as in terms of his quality. I don't think he was as good as Son.
That's when the argument comes in between Ji-sung Park and Heung-min Son, because Heung-min Son has the longevity and the consistency and the output over him, but Ji-sung Park had top moments in his career and won big trophies.
And also, Ji-sung Park was a big part of those teams that won champion. Like he was Sir Alex's go-to player in all these big games. Whenever there was a big game, like they would play the front three of like Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez, and whatever. But whenever there was a big game, he put in Park, and there was a reason for that because he knew he was a player he could rely on in these big games to graft and dig in. But when it comes to quality, it depends what you value, I guess. Because when it comes to real quality, like Park wouldn't have been able to score even a quarter of the goals Son was able to score in terms of that finishing ability. But in those big games, Park was the one Sir Alex trusted.
Yeah, I think it was a big reason when Kane got injured. Sonny really did step up. Like, there's many times when Kane's been out and Son's just literally been up top for us, and he's just literally taken on the mantle and he's just run it in for us. So that again for me just shows the levels, because Kane's no joke, as everyone knows. Kane's like Mr. Spurs, but like there was an argument like when people didn't really want Kane to be in the finals. Do you know what I mean? And I know it was to do with just more and more, but I think Son was a part of that equation. Son was that big part of the reason why we got to that final, and I think that was worth a mention as well. So, like, yeah, I would like to see Kane be Son more in that role as well, back into that that kind of wing forward role, because I think that's where he's most dangerous. His body position as well. Like for me, if he's in the right position, he can hurt teams a lot more. Whether Stellini gives that to him.
So is that a yes? He is the best Asian player of all time, Ash.
Yeah, in my opinion, yeah.
Yeah, I think I have. If you balance it all out and you look on quality of his ability, yeah, I think ability wise, yeah. But I think, and if you as I said, it's all based on what people's metrics are. For me, I base it on quality. So I think from that, then the answer is yeah.
All right, big up. I think we'll leave it there for today, guys. But thank you, everyone, for joining the panel today. Thank you for the viewers for spending your Monday afternoon with us today. But Perchy, new to the panel show, let everyone know where they can find you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys, obviously, for having me on. I'm on at the Perchy on Twitter, but at the Perchy TV on YouTube. 462 subs in a month. Can we? I think it's 426. 426, not 62, the other way around. Yeah. So yeah, get me there. Doing live streams, just talking football, talking Tottenham. Yeah. Listen, come over, just having chats with people in the chat. So if you're not there, please sub. That'd be lovely. I'm also on Twitch at the Perchy TTV. It's all very easy and simple. Yeah. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right, big up, Perchy. Thanks for coming on today.
Cheers.
Ashmatic, apart from We Are Tottenham TV, where can the people find you?
Apart from We Are Tottenham TV, you can find me on Perchy TV as well. No, I'm joking.
We need to sort that. We need to sort that, Asham.
Perchy number 2. I'm joking now.
You know.
I'm with Marlon and Haas. I'm going to be popping up in there a lot more often. It's the Southview COYS. Southview COYS. So just the South side perspective, South Stands perspective. Talking all things Spurs and Tottenham. Yeah, man. And you'll just see me around as well. Like, whoever has me, I'm happy to be here, man. I'm just happy to give my opinion on certain matters. But yeah, man, big up, boys. Big up the boys. We Are Tottenham TV. Big up to the fans in the comments, and big up to the people that don't even jump in the comments, because I'm one of them. I'm a silent watcher. I'll be watching these streams. I don't be saying that, but I'll be watching.
We know you're always in the background watching, Ash. We always know you're there. But look, thank you everyone for joining today. That's another panel show gone by. But we'll see you all tomorrow for another day of Spurs content. But thank you everyone for joining today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.
Spurs. We got.